Good afternoon, viewers. Today I am before you with a very, very important topic which concerns the general public and is important from the point of criminal justice also. We all know that police is very important part of the executive. It's inalienable limb of the executive. Now, why we have created police? Police gives the sense of security to the public. In the presence of this system of police, people feel secure. Secure in the sense that nobody will able to commit any sort of crime against somebody else in the presence of policing. But this is what precisely the object of the police is. I will supplement one more to it that the task which has been given to the police under law is to detect crime and to prevent it. Prevention of crime is very important function of the police. Their job is to detect crime and bring the culprit to justice. This is what the job of the police is. But the problem rises with the society when the police, on one count or the other, starts harassing the common man. Problem rises here. Today, I am not going to discuss the provisions regarding police in India, but I have brought before you an analysis about the verdict which has recently been pronounced by the by one of the American courts in George Floyd's case, and wherein the police officer named Chauvin was sentenced to 22 and a half years of imprisonment. So we will try to analyze about this verdict and to see what how it can impact the society. As you know that there is intense racial discrimination in United States of America against the blacks. This problem is there, and George Floyd, a 46 years old person who was in some protest there in Minneapolis city of United States, he was he was caught by the police convicted police officer, and about 9 to 10 minutes, he was kneeled down by the police officer, and that person, the victim, he gasped and said that he is unable to breathe, but it has not affected the police officer, and he brutally kept kneeling him down under his knee. His neck was under his knee, and ultimately he died. He died of that cruel act of the police officer. Then a great big protest against this cruelty was there, and it spread like a fire. It spread to other countries also, and the question of racial discrimination was refreshed. It came into picture again in United States. It was during the presidency of the former U.S. President Donald Trump. So the question about the credibility of the police was raised in the United States of America, and the police officer. And one more very important thing I want to tell you, I show you by sharing the screen. It will appear. No, this is the person. This is the police officer Chauvin. This person. He was responsible for the death of the black man, George Floyd. The important thing which I wanted to tell you about the instrumental part of the conviction of this person. It was the bystander. You can see this lady. She was instrumental in securing the conviction of this police officer. She made video of the incident, and video proved a potent evidence against the errant police officer. They could not get out of, they could not uh, create any lies in the presence of uh, this video. And this video ultimately proved fatal for him, and he was convicted. It is very easy for the police to fabricate lies, and the belief which usually the police take all over the world, including India, is they did it while exercising their sovereign powers. I will stop the screen here. So this is the plea which police takes to get rid of some such cruel acts, to escape from such cruel acts, and to get rid of being trapped by the law. And this is the sovereign. They take the sovereign pleas. They say that it has happened while exercising their sovereign powers. So they cannot be blamed for this. This usually happens in such killings or other cruel acts of the police. But I tell you one thing very clearly, that sovereign sovereign power does not mean at all that you will do the things which the law does not permit you. Say, for example, police goes to nab, arrest somebody, and the alleged accused, he offers himself to the police for arrest. But despite this, police goes ahead, use criminal force on that person who is offering his arrest, and might kill him or might injure him badly. Sovereign power does not permit such things. Nobody is above law. This rule of law is prevalent not in India only, but all over the world. In all the civilized nations, rule of law prevails. So the sovereign plea cannot be effective in such cases. So after the during the killing of after the killing of George Floyd in United States by the police, the the, the question about the police credibility was rose there. Whether the police can use force to the extent which is not, to the level which is not required. And some committee was constituted there which said that the US police is not properly trained to use force. Now you can imagine. This is the situation in United States of America. Their police is not trained to use force. What could be the scenario in other nations? So this is assessment, analysis before you that if this is the situation in United States, what could be the situation in other nations who are below United States. So this question was raised there, and it is still that the things are going on such thing on this point. And what the judge said in this case while sentencing the police officer, he said that the police officer has abused his position of trust. This is the position, as I earlier said, that police created the function of the police is to prevent crime, not to perpetrate crime, not to commit crime, but to prevent crime, whereby the society feels secure. They live securely. This is the trust of the police vis-a-vis to the society. So this trust between the police and the society is very important, and there should not be abuse of position of trust. That is very important. We cannot use this position, because I tell you how it happens. Police has wide powers under the law. Rather, police is intoxicated by these excessive powers enshrined in law, which has been showered on the police. Law gives ample powers, wide powers to the police. But the problem with the police is they don't use it judicially. That is the problem. And that problem crops when there is no leadership available in the police. Their superiors, they are the leaders. They have to guide the police, the police under their supervision. So leadership in police is lacking, which ultimately leads to abuse of the position of trust that the police has vis-a-vis to the society. But it does not mean that the officials, the police as a whole, is absolved from their liabilities, either civil or criminal liabilities. Nobody is above law. Those days are gone when the doctrine of the king can do no wrong was in vogue, was available. That is not the time now. We are living in an era of highly civilized societies where rule of law is the constitutional norm, the constitutional principle. There is due process of law for everyone, howsoever big he is, howsoever powerful he is. Therefore, this problem is prevalent all over the globe, not in the United States, not in India, not in UK, but everywhere it is. This is the problem. Now, after the George Floyd case, this issue is being discussed now. This issue is in discussion now. Can the police use the powers to the level which is not required at all? When a person is offering to arrest, they should arrest him peacefully without using force, without using any criminal force. There is no need to slap him. There is no need to punch him. When he is offering, you arrest him. So, even the law in private defense, general exceptions are there in the Indian Penal Code. That chapter is a separate chapter which deals with the private right to right of private defense. Proportionate force is required to use to save yourself. A person has every right to use force, propor- proportionate force. Suppose if one is slapping you, it does not mean that you will stab him. You cannot go to that extent. Law is permitting you to save yourself, but not by using. If one is without arms, one is just slapping you and you are stabbing him. That is not permissible under law. So George Floyd verdict, which is based on the abuse of position of trust by the police officer and the cruelty shown to the victim. You could imagine the pain of the victim who was knelt down by the police officer for 9 to 10 minutes. He was gasping. He could not breathe. As a result, he died. This is very, very cruel act. So the verdict, the sentence which was imposed on the convicted was 22 and a half years. This is the landmark verdict in the history of this uh, United States, especially in this racial discrimination on minorities. Naturally, we can't say that this verdict will not have impact on the society, on the authorities. It will definitely, it will definitely has impact not on the society only, but on the authorities, on the police. It will create deterrence. It has deterrence effect. In future, the police in the United States or elsewhere, laws are everywhere. We will discuss in a different episode what is the position if it happens in our own country, India. Can police escape? No, not at all. There is plethora of laws. We only need to use those laws. Who use, who abuse their positions of trust. Laws are there. Police cannot escape these laws. So we will discuss about the Indian scenario of police in different episode. But today uh, I'm trying to analyze the verdict of the U.S. court, which has sentenced the errant police officer to 22 and a half years imprisonment. After 15 years of, when he serves the 15 years of imprisonment, then he may come out on parole, not before that. So he has to spend his life, that police officer, in jail. Why we cannot say that this verdict this verdict has impact not in the United States only, but it will act as beacon, a route to for other nations also. Other nations who who are constitutionally governed, who are governed by the rule of law, they have to focus on George Floyd's verdict too. That if police officer acts so cruelly with the citizens to whom he is bound legally to protect, then how can the system can deal with such errant officials, errant police men, errant police officials? We can't give long rope because it will give birth to the crime of some other nature. So George Floyd's verdict is not only for the Americans, it is for all the nations, civilized nations, where is not trained, is not trained to use force against the citizens, against the alleged accused persons or the citizens who are protesting and so on and so forth. So This is a very, very pertinent, important issue for every country to see, to check the police actions. And unchecked police actions can lead to disarray in the society, dissatisfaction among the masses, and above all, conculcation of the rule of law, trampling of the rule of law. We cannot allow that. Our constitution inhibits such things, such acts. Protections are there. We have to safeguard those protections according to the accused persons, to the citizens. Therefore, I wanted to uh, convey this message through the George Floyd verdict in the United States, pronounced by the court in the United States, that as because of the racial discrimination there, the such things are being happened. But hopefully now, after this verdict, the things will change for the better. And the focal point abuse of position of trust by the police has to be discussed not only in the United States but in other constitutionally governed countries also. With this episode, I leave everything to the citizens, to the masses, to the public to just spare a time, read about the Chauvin's sentence, that George Floyd case, see what has happened in that, and try to analyze it with your own system. With this, I will end my episode. Say goodbye. Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a good day.